I'm Mark Bailey from Barnes Construction. Around a year ago, I went tentatively down to UCS and listened to Kay and Natalie come up and talk about this new idea, this trading for good. And it really hit a point with me personally, and I could see the synergies with our business. So, like a mug, I've been asked to come back. I've only spoken twice publicly, and they were at both of my weddings. So, so let's see how this goes. So Barnes Construction has been going since 1978. We're a local building company. We work regionally, and then over the years we've developed into a business that goes with clients nationally. So we developed, since inception, like many small businesses, we developed quite strong community links. And they were staff that were doing good things in the community, sponsored events and various things like that. And why did we do that? Well, some of those had the synergies with the business. They might be clients that were asking us to do sponsored events to raise money towards a building that we maybe were building, or others just felt like the right thing to do. So that's what we did. And for a period of time, that worked very well. You don't ask for any recognition for it, and you get a little bit of recognition, but at a very local, low-key level. So what happened within construction? It's good to see a construction friend with Chris McEwen over there. He'll know that over the years, we've been asked, like many other businesses, I'm sure, but I've only ever known construction, the bar has been raised and we have to jump higher. And many of those things are for good reasons. So maybe in reaction to the government's big society, we've seen clients become more enlightened. And they have asked businesses more recently to start evidencing their corporate social responsibility activities back into bids. In the early days, all our clients really wanted us to do was to build their buildings. It then led on to how do we affect the people that we're working around. And there were schemes like the Considerate Constructor scheme came out, and they asked us to be more respectful to our neighbours in the workplace environment. I'm a little bit of a cynic because 10 or 15 years down the line, I see that as a cash cow. It's something that they just want to generate some funds for. And you can actually do those kinds of activities and run your sites very responsibly without paying out £500 or £1,000 per site. So what was the next big thing? Well, we'd obviously got health and safety. We were now being considerate to our neighbours. So the next big thing, of course, was the environment. We've got to tick that box. And I was asked to tick that box with our company about 3 years ago. And again, I rang up the authority on the environmental issues, which was the BSI, and they came down. And the guy spent an hour trying to sell me a software package. Not really what I wanted to do. I wanted some help as a small business trying to improve our practices within the environment. And I wanted to find a low-cost solution to achieving that. Yes, we were going to sign up to the ISO 14001. Yes, we were going to work our way through. No, I didn't need to spend £4,500 a year on a software system. We could do it on bits of paper. That was appropriate for our business. So what have we seen more recently? Well, what we've seen more recently is I do a lot of work with local authorities, and it's good to see Concertus represented here. We work together quite a lot. And we've seen our local authority clients have the spotlight shone back on how they're spending their money. So we have been, as a local regional contractor, very successful on competing against national contractors with the blend of what we can bring, which is different from a national contractor. We've been quite successful on getting to some frameworks. What they now ask you to do is to evidence what you're going to bring back as value added on that particular scheme. So something that has grown out of that is something called an employment and skills plan. Again, it's a great idea. It encourages you to set benchmarks for employing people locally, investing back through your projects into education, either if you're doing a school, working with the school to show them how good the construction industry is and what opportunities there are, or even just doing maths challenges or physics challenges. Again, that ticked a box with me. All of the rest of my family are all teachers. I'm married to a head teacher, and I got loads of great ideas of how we could stimulate children. And I suppose as a learner, which is why I ended up in construction, I was someone that actually picked up things very quickly by watching someone else do it. It's called a kinesthetic learner, I believe. So there are different boxes to tick for different children, and we got a lot out of that, and we started encouraging our young management trainees to go along and work in schools, and they got a lot out of it through learning to public speak. So one of my more recent roles within the business has been expanding where we go to into new marketplaces and finding new project opportunities, and they're called frameworks nowadays. So what do? Well, they try and thin out hundreds of contractors that are going for these particular opportunities and get it down to a more manageable list where ultimately they will invite you to tender for the works, and they will ask you a series of quality questions, and they will look at your price and they will blend it together, and they will maybe take the 20 contractors and they'll spit out 7 at the end that are able to do the works. So it's quite a tall order to start from 100 or so. And what I found was that the value added that they were asking for was becoming more and more onerous. They wanted to know how many pro bono hours we were doing. They wanted to know how we were going to provide local employment. They wanted to know whether we were going to work with schools. They wanted to know how many unemployed people we could offer jobs to. So what that actually created was a requirement for us to start recording and benchmarking and evidencing. So I was delighted to come along a year ago and find someone that had got a free website for us to record it all on. And it was quite an easy sell going back to the MD. Sue's here. Sue knows that our MD is quite a hard sell, especially when it's got some pound signs on it. It was an easy sell going back and saying, look, we can record all of this information that we do. It'll be self-perpetuating. People will be quite interested, I believe. And it's actually been very easy to set up. And our staff have been incredibly receptive to it. A few emails out to them just explaining what we're going to do has actually created the situation where they're trying to outdo each other. They're top-trumping each other with what they do. And in fact, one criticism that's come back from the staff is that they can't record their outside activities unless we give them time off. And I think there's an opportunity for Trading for Good. It doesn't have to go down as our pro bono hours. What I feel it would do, what we feel as a company, is it actually gets to the point of what a business is about. Because a business is about the people. And if the people within that business, I suddenly find out someone does hundreds of hours of volunteering, and I didn't know that before, A, it's great to find out. B, you understand the character of the person. And you can start actually getting more out and engaging with them. So I've got some evidence. I'm waiting for you to change the website, Kay, and then I shall be in there like a shot. So what's it done to benefit our business, or what? Well, I suppose the best thing it's done is it's shone a spotlight back on our business, and it's got us as a group of directors thinking about whether we're doing enough, whether the activities that we are doing are the right things, whether we should be developing a formal corporate social responsibility policy that will go into our objectives, charitable giving, and it will set targets related to profitability maybe, or it will set hours of pro bono work so that we can start doing that. I am convinced that if we hadn't sorted this out, we would have drifted through the next 10 years of business without even asking those questions of ourselves. So I think it will help us provide direction. What else has it been? Well, the second thing, it's a very, very easy portal to use. I am not at all technically minded. I can just about work my phone, but I managed to work their website. So if I can do it, I'm sure any of you can do it. And of course, it's a one-stop shop for evidencing just about everything that you do. So if you're doing some good environmental things right the way through to giving money away or doing pro bono hours, you'll find a place to put it in there and write a case study. And if you forget things as quickly as I do, that'll be a godsend to you in a year's time. What is it? The last thing it's enabled us to do is to share what we do with our staff and our customers. And we do that in a modest and less obtrusive way. I don't promote the website with our staff, but I know they look at it. And what I will do within our biannual newsletter out to the staff is suggest that they go on and see what their fellow colleagues are doing, because that's where we'll be capturing the information. And of course, that's a great motivator for people then spurring on to do some other things. So in conclusion, we've found that our Trading for Good experience has been very positive. We hope that it blossoms and hope that it becomes a nationally recognised kite mark for responsible, ethical business practices.